My dear friends, the pastoral letter of this year is already out. And its theme is, "You are my witnesses." This biblical verse has been taken from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, verse 8. The third part of the letter, which is on page 19 of the pastoral letter, especially applies to me, and hence our today's sharing will be based on this part, which speaks about the need to continue to bear witness to Jesus in as many ways as possible. And so, in keeping with the theme of the pastoral letter, we're going to reflect here on how the members of the existing group in the Archdiocese called the Friends of St. Joseph Vaz could be such vibrant witnesses to Jesus and to His Gospel as they carry out their important mission, and how this group could be basically encouraged to do so. First of all, let me brief you about what these Friends of St. Joseph Vaz are, their mission, and other related information. The group Friends of St. Joseph Vaz was formed on 24 January 2016. A team of 5 members called the Team for Evangelization was formed in each parish, and out of the 5 members, at least 2 of them were advised to be possibly chosen from the Parish Pastoral Council. This team functions under the Parish Pastoral Council. So at the parish level, they are called Teams for Evangelization, and clubbing together all these teams for evangelization, they are called Friends of St. Joseph Vaz at the diocesan level. Now, due to some reasons, this group was not found very active for a short time. It appeared a bit dormant. And so, under the able directions and guidance of the Archbishop, the group was revived last year in October 2019. And presently, we have about 750 members of Friends of St. Joseph Vaz carrying out their mission both at the parish and the diocesan level. In fact, such an ongoing formation seminar was scheduled for them last March, but it did not materialize due to COVID-19. A few parishes are yet to submit the names of their 5 representatives, though we have made repeated requests for the same, but we still wait. Now, what is the role of Friends of St. Joseph Vaz? My dear friends, as you know, the son of our soil, Joseph Vaz, the patron of our Archdiocese, was finally canonized a saint by the Church on 14 January 2015. And we have been celebrating the annual feast of our saint on every 16th of January. You must be aware of it. You're also aware that last January 2020, we have celebrated his feast as a saint for the 6th time, with 3 times at the new venue, Old Church of Sanqual, Rua Escrava de Maria. And you're also aware that after his sainthood, the number of his devotees and pilgrims in and outside Goa has increased by leaps and bounds. And at the same time, his devotion has soared up at an alarming rate. Since then, the devotion to the saint is going on increasing tremendously, and a dire need was felt to carry it on further, more enthusiastically. Now that we have a saint in Joseph Vaz, we could not afford to sit with our hands folded. We have to move on. His devotion needs to spread throughout the world. Hence, under the umbrella of the committee named Promotion of Devotion to St. Joseph Vaz, this group Friends of St. Joseph of Vaz operates in making St. Joseph Vaz known all over and spread his devotion non-stop. Friends, I wish therefore to share with you very briefly how this group functions in the Archdiocese and how its members can become witnesses to Jesus while carrying out their challenging work of evangelization as per the calling in the pastoral letter of this year. The main task or the mission of the group is obviously the work of promotion of devotion to St. Joseph Vaz. And more specifically, and especially at the parish level, they work for this cause and carry out the mission of St. Joseph Vaz under the title of Teams for Evangelization, about which we spoke. And this happens in their respective parishes and families. They have also a role to propagate and witness to their faith and religion. Besides, they work for unity among Christ's faithful and bring about interreligious dialogue with and among the members of other faiths, which is also an important part of their mission. But I'm going to speak now of some ways and means how they can carry out their important mission, and in doing so, how in their day-to-day life they can bear witness to Jesus as appealed in the pastoral letter of this year. But still, I wish to discuss them here again. Not every proposal may be feasible for implementation, but to the extent possible, we could think of at least some. First, one of the best opportunities for the promotion of devotion to St. Joseph Vaz, and through it, one of the best means to witness to Jesus, is the annual novena and the feast of St. Joseph Vaz from 7th to 16th of January. No doubt, at the diocesan level, we usually do not miss out on the annual novena and the feast of St. Joseph Vaz at Sankwal, and especially the scheduled days of pilgrimages, Romaria. But still, the same could be held simultaneously in our parishes as well, from 7th to 16th January, for which we provide all facilities. The full liturgy of the novena and the feast is sent to each parish and other relevant places. Of course, all this needs to be done under the directives and guidance of the parish priest or the chaplain or the concerned superior. Secondly, at least one day of the week, preferably Friday. I say Friday because Friday is supposed to be the day of devotion to St. Joseph Vaz. This day could be dedicated to St. Joseph Vaz in our parishes. And on this day, the special rosary of St. Joseph Vaz, his novena prayer or his intercessory prayer over the sick, or other related prayers could be said in the church before or after the Mass. The rosary and the said prayers could also be integrated in the family rosary recited in honor of Mother Mary. Further, a statue of St. Joseph Vaz could be erected on a suitable place inside or outside the church. A similar smaller size statue could be possibly also installed in our houses or even in its premises, but keeping in mind the regulations applicable in the case. Important days in the life of St. Joseph Vaz could be celebrated in our parishes with special devotion and faith, namely the novena and the feast about which we spoke, 7th to 16th January, his nativity, 21st April, the day he wrote his letter of bondage, 5th August. Another good and fruitful opportunity of promoting the devotion to St. Joseph Vaz and a special means to witness to Jesus is religious pilgrimages to holy places related to St. Joseph Vaz, which will bring a lot of good to our faith, namely the shrine or the sanctuary of St. Joseph Vaz, Sankwal, his paternal house, Sankwal, his maternal house, Benaulim, the house or the convent of his order of Oratorians, Cruz dos Milagres, Old Goa, his hub of long years of ministry, Sri Lanka, and his another place of brief ministry, Mangalore. In the sixth place, the Friends of St. Joseph Vaz, serving to spread the devotion of St. Joseph Vaz in parishes and families as teams for evangelization, about which we spoke. Far from placing obstacles to them as they carry on their work, they could be encouraged, could be appreciated, and given full support and cooperation, and assist them in their important mission of spreading the devotion to St. Joseph Vaz, which will give them a lot of impetus to witness to Jesus with more dedication. Further, various prayers related to St. Joseph Vaz, especially his rosary, could be distributed to families, and these could be recited on various occasions. These tasks of conducting these prayers could be entrusted to the initiative of children and youngsters. This will help inculcate in their minds and hearts special love and devotion to St. Joseph Vaz. We could put special efforts in this direction. We could thus prepare them to become future torchbearers of St. Joseph Vaz and witnesses to Jesus. It will be a good means for them to witness to Jesus through this exercise right from their younger days. Another means could be inspired by the life and example of St. Joseph Vaz. Special time could be set aside for the organized regular visits to show our special love, care and concern for the sick and old suffering in our homes, hospitals, homes for the aged, and other places in our parishes or elsewhere. And while doing so, assistance and goodwill of other existing associations, groups in our parishes could be sought. Further, seminars, missions, retreats, and the like, based on the life and ministry of St. Joseph Vaz, could be organized at the parish level in order to know him deeply. Experiences and knowledge gathered from these exercises could well be shared with others in various ways. We could make available to others writings on the life and ministry of St. Joseph Vaz, like books, magazines, etc., and share with others whatever one gains from these writings. Any program or any activity held in the parish or elsewhere connected with St. Joseph Vaz could be published at once periodically in our parish bulletin, which could be a powerful tool of communication. In order to reach these same programs, activities far and wide to the whole world, modern means of communication could be easily used, say TV, internet, mobile, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. Our catechism classrooms could also be a very good and fertile ground to sow the seeds about St. Joseph Vaz time and again in the young minds and hearts. Next, in the footsteps of St. Joseph Vaz, with the purpose of interreligious dialogue and good and healthy relationship with the brethren of other faiths, if they could be visited, or one could socialize with them, or wish them on the occasion of their, say, festivities like Ganesh Chaturthi, Diwali, Eid, and so forth. This would be a great opportunity for us to try and learn the good from other faiths. Lastly, in an effort to strengthen the unity of the parish family, one day of the Christmas week program could be set aside annually and dedicated to St. Joseph Vaz. On this day, a special and meaningful program related to life and ministry of St. Joseph Vaz could be held, which will help towards the spread of his devotion and our witness to Jesus. As I conclude, like we said earlier, all these above ways and means or proposals we have made here are to be worked out or implemented under the direction and guidance of the respective parish priest or the chaplain or the concerned superior. Thank you.